Hey everyone, this is Bergman, founder and CEO of IRA Financial. Welcome to another episode of AdBits, where I will be sharing bits of knowledge about self-directed retirement. If you want to learn more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Just search IRA Financial. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of AdBits. I'm Adam Bergman, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. And on today's episode, I'm going to be chatting about the Backdoor Roth 401k myths. So I've done a lot of videos, podcasts, even blogs on the Backdoor Roth IRA, the Backdoor 401k. So what I'll do today is kind of briefly discuss the quick differences and then talk about some of the myths and misconceptions of who can actually do the Backdoor 401k. So let's start quickly with the Backdoor Roth IRA, which pretty much since 2010, when the cap on Roth conversion income levels was removed because of the financial crisis in order to generate more tax revenues for the Treasury, they removed the income cap so everyone could do Roth conversions, which means more money to the Treasury. So what happened then is the the Backdoor Roth IRA strategy was born, and now anyone, even if you make $100 million a year, could put in $6,000 or $7,000 in an after-tax IRA and then convert it to Roth. Okay, and you can do that every year. The only thing to keep in mind is that if you have other pre-tax IRA money out there, you may not be able to convert the full amount because there's a pro rata formula that will dictate how much can be converted. For example, if you had $5,000 in a pre-tax IRA, now you want to do an after-tax Backdoor Roth IRA of another $5,000, 50% of the $5,000 you want to convert on the backdoor could go to Roth. The other 50% could not because you still have pre-tax IRA money out there. So I know it's a bit confusing, but that's kind of how it works. So the bottom line is anyone can do a Backdoor Roth IRA, no matter what your income is, $6,000 or $7,000 if you're over 50. The Mega Backdoor 401k is a little different. It lets you go dollar for dollar, $58,000 or $64,500 if you're over 50. Now, obviously, you need a 401k, but you can't just use any old 401k because if you work at an employer, big or small, whether it's Apple or IRA Financial, and there's employees other than the owners, you're most likely not going to be able to do this backdoor or Mega Backdoor Roth 401k. And I know there was a recent article in the Wall Street Journal kind of stating and describing what the Backdoor Roth 401k stated and how it worked, but really wasn't clear that most people cannot do it. Unless you do a solo 401k, which I'll get into in a moment, you're not going to be able to do a backdoor Mega Roth 401k and put away $58,000 or $64,500 dollar for dollar in after tax and convert to Roth if you work at a company that has multiple employees. Why? Because it's going to likely fail a ERISA test called the ACP test. Okay, and under the ACP test, which is tested separately, and it's called the actual contribution percentage test, which is tested separately for the after-tax contribution. So if you're not going to have enough people in your company do this Mega Backdoor 401k, you're going to fail the test. And it's especially true for non-highly competent employees. So if you have a business, you work at a business that has a 401k, and you may be listening or watching this podcast and say, oh my God, I can do this Mega Backdoor, or maybe read a Wall Street Journal article a week or so ago and think you can do it. Because I got a lot of emails about this saying, hey, I read this article. It was a really interesting article, Mega Backdoor 401k. Why can't I put away $58K dollar for dollar? And then I have to explain, well, the article, I wish the reporter spoke to me because I actually emailed her and let her know that if she did talk to me, I would have told her that it's most likely not possible to do what you're stating people can do in your article because of this ACP test, which non-highly compensated employees need to be tested for. And in almost every case, you're not going to see enough non-highly compensated employees do this Mega Backdoor 401k. In fact, a majority of 401ks don't even allow for after-tax contributions. So if you are in a plan that allows for after-tax contributions, you need to get enough non-highly compensated employees to do this backdoor after-tax conversion in order to pass the ACP test and thus be allowed to do it, which never happens. I've worked at 3 law firms and I didn't know one person that did this. So the owners may want to do this, but most of the non-highly compensated employees, the rank and file employees, will not do it, and thus it will fail the ACP test. So if you work at a business that has a 401k and you're not the sole owner or there are employees other than the owners, whether it's as big as Apple or as mid-size as IRA Financial with 70-something employees, you're not going to be able to do this because you're going to fail the ACP test. But if you have a solo 401k plan, hey, now we're talking, right? Solo 401k is not subject to the ACP test. It's not subject to ERISA testing. Why? There's no non-owner employees to protect. So there's no reason for ERISA to apply. And thus, that is how you get into the Mega Backdoor 401k. When you're in the solo 401k world, that means you have a business with no full-time employees other than the owners or their spouses. And full-time employee means over 1,000 hours. You can set up a solo K. It could be even for a side business. It doesn't have to be your primary business. So you could work at Apple and do some side consulting or have maybe a real estate business that's actually a business, not Schedule E passive rental income, but a business. Just don't hire anyone other than the owners or their spouses, because spouses of owners are not deemed employees under ERISA. And you can set up a solo 401k, even through IRA Financial, which has an after-tax component. And then you can make after-tax contributions of $58,000 or $64,500 dollar for dollar and convert it to Roth. And you can convert it in the plan, or you can actually roll the after-tax 401k funds directly to a Roth IRA, even without a plan triggering event, and then convert it to a Roth IRA, even if you're under 59.5. So it's a really, really amazing strategy if you're a Roth lover like myself. I wish I could do this. I'm just not self-employed. And as I mentioned, not enough employees of IRA Financial want to do this. I'm going to try to do my best convincing I can, but just some people don't want Roth, some people want to tax deductions, and it's just not going to work. We've tried to run an ACP test on this, and we just fail it. So, and that's normal, right? That's the norm. I don't know one business that, and when I mean a business, I mean a business with employees that can pass this ACP test and allow for the Mega Backdoor 401k. So if you read an article in the Wall Street Journal last week about it, because I got a bunch of emails, texts from clients, friends, and the like saying, hey, this is awesome. I wish I knew about this. Most probably, you're not going to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. You can do the backdoor Roth IRA of 6,000 or 7,000, but the Mega Backdoor 401k of the 58 or the 64.5, it's just not going to be possible unless you have a solo 401k or you want to set up a solo 401k for your side business or your main business, and then you can do the Mega Backdoor and really booster and rocket ship your 401k to the moon. If you are a Roth lover, it's awesome. I mean, imagine having 58 or 64,500 in a Roth every year. After a bunch of years, just letting the money sit and just investing it. I mean, you'll have millions of dollars when you retire. It's crazy. It's an unbelievable option. I'm happy the article was written because it really publicized this strategy for a lot of people that weren't aware of it. Unfortunately, you just need to be self-employed to be able to use it because the business you're in, there's not going to be enough non-highly compensated employees that are going to want to do the conversion, and thus it will fail the ACP test. But there you go. I just wanted to clarify the myth because, as I mentioned, I got a lot of communication from clients and friends that, hey, why didn't you tell me about this? I wish I did this. This is crazy. I can't believe it's legal. And they got to explain, like, it is legal, but it's not going to work as the article insinuated because it doesn't work generally for regular 401k plans for businesses with employees. It really only works if you're self-employed or have a business with no full-time employees. So the business owners or their spouses are not covered by ERISA and thus not having to deal with the ACP test. So there you go. I hope it wasn't too confusing, but at least I'm trying to pique your interest in some really cool strategies out there where you can really boost your retirement accounts, and especially if you want to boost your Roth and generate tax-free growth so long as you're over 59.5 and the Roth's been open 5 years, it doesn't get better than the Mega Backdoor Roth. It just doesn't. It's awesome. I just wish more people can do it. I wish they got rid of the ACP test for employees and companies. They're probably not going to do it. I'm not sure why. Again, it's not tax deduction, so it's not going to hurt revenue for the Treasury. Just unfortunately, this test needs to be satisfied, and it's why it limits our ability to do backdoor Mega 401k contributions for most employees of 401k. So thanks again for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate all the support and feedback. And I will talk to everyone again next week.